our friend, Shawn Ryan.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. Let's talk about it.
Disclaimer. I know Shawn. We've met Shawn. I know Shawn extremely well.
Yeah.
It's a person I trust. I think he's an honest, genuine person. I do not think he is a CIA plant, although he worked for the CIA as a contractor. And that's just purely based on my personal interaction with him and knowing him and his family and conversations we have offline, online, offline, etc. I don't think he's a plant. That being said, he gets this email. One of the people comes on a show, sends this email, and it's like the email says that I work for the government, I do this, and it's to bring attention to the drones that are coming out of the Atlantic Ocean, and they have 0-point energy and anti-gravity drones that is being utilized in China, and they can attack the White House at any point, and the world needs to know about this, and I'm a whistleblower, and I'm running for Mexico, and I just need you to know, and he sends this email. Sorry, totally cut that up a little bit.
No, it's good. It was actually pretty good. That was all the major points.
And I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
So there's a couple things that I'm thinking about. The first is the email itself had spell check underlines.
They addressed that.
Did they?
He said that because they were redacting, they were copying the email and they were putting it into editor so that they can do the redactions.
Fair enough.
And while they're doing that, it just...
So secondly...
Because they showed the screenshots of the original email that didn't have it.
Secondly, the guy who went on Shawn Ryan's show has been accused of, in the past, of making stuff up.
Yes,
and
making up emails.
Making up emails, which this is, once again, another email. So, like, it's like, bro, apple far from the tree, right? It's kind of the same thing. And so that's questionable. And number three, I'm going to disagree with you. Did you see Shawn Ryan's episode with the lady from the CIA?
Which one? Sarah Adams?
Yeah, I think that might have been her name. And she was talking about, like, people talking about Building 7 and 9/11 and all that stuff.
And she's a Building 7 9/11 denier.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Don't trust 9/11 deniers, by the way. And when I say denier, like the denier of the real truth, not the fake truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I met Shawn Ryan. Don't know him as well as you do, clearly, but good guy. Spoke a couple words, hung out a little bit, but nothing much. But I will say, and again, I didn't spend as much time as you did with him. And people might clip this and send this to him and like, hey, Matt, Shawn, your friend Matt, his co-host is digging on you. He could be a CIA plant. And just hear me out. Those guys are trained to lie, man. They're trained to live a life that is completely disconnected from reality, in which they are able to somehow deal with the dissonance of this abstraction of who they really are and be able to keep that front with such consistency that you would never know the deeper seated. And so, I'm not, for all those internet people are going to clip this and say, oh, he's digging, Peter's saying that he's a psyop himself, he's a plant, he's controlled opposition. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is we do know one fact to be true. He was ex-CIA. Fact. So, if we go on that fact alone,
He's a contractor for the CIA, not actual CIA.
Most of them are contractors.
Most of them, yeah. The contractors do all the dirty work anyway. They do all that. They all do the wet work anyway. So, like, again, if we just leave it there, then one could pull on that string and say, maybe this was the plan. So let me extrapolate. This could be a conspiracy in itself, Matt. But I feel like the podcast world has been infiltrated. I feel like the mainstream media recognized they're not stupid. They play stupid, yes, but they're not stupid. They saw the writing on the wall a decade ago. Mainstream media is dying. Alternative media and decentralized media is rising, right? The sticky factor of these episodes, these psyops, people are seeing. It looks like a Simpsons TV show. It looks like an episode from CSI Miami. People are no longer looking at this stuff and being like, bro, this is not real. And so how do they begin to move the masses? Well, CNN is no longer effective. They only have 10,000 viewers an hour, right? But Joe Rogan, Shawn Ryan, Lex Friedman, and his recent interview with the King. Did that not reek of psyop and controlled opposition and like Pepsi?
It's just propaganda.
Dude, Lex Friedman sold out, man.
Or he always was.
But that's the point, though. When did Lex begin? When did Shawn Ryan begin? When did these years ago? So could it not be that years ago, maybe a decade ago, they
got tapped on the shoulder?
CNN's dying, mainstream media is dying. We see the rise of these Rogan-esque type of personalities, right? Daily Wire's coming into itself, right? We saw these alternative. We saw Louder with Crowder, right? Things were moving a decade ago, right? They were just started, and man, the amount of planning. I would not put it behind them, Matt, that what we are living in today, the Lex Friedman, the Joe Rogan, the Shawn Ryan. What if all of them were just part of the game? That's all I'm saying. What if all of them are just part of the game?
So 2 points. One is that I've gotten to know Shawn pretty well. We exchange children's pictures, etc. So if he is a CI plant, then I am a mark, and I'd be pretty upset about that.
Well,
because I've gotten to know him really well.
Yeah, as you should be, though. And I'm not trying to espouse any fake emotions here, but like you maybe you got played, bro. I mean, let's do another example. Let's do two more.
Okay.
You went and saw Andrew Tate.
Well, that's all I was gonna say. Andrew Tate, father was with the CIA.
I'm so bad to say it, bro.
A guy that we've known very well. Tucker Carlson.
I was the second.
Father worked for the CIA. Another guy we know very well.
And another
Shawn
one.
Ryan literally worked for the CIA. A guy we know very well. So I had a friend.
Are we CIA?
Well, our friend King Andrew calls me one day. He goes, Matt, I need to know. You can tell me if you are. He goes, are you with the CIA?
Really?
And I'm like, what? He's like, of course not. What the hell are you talking about? He's like, well, if you were, that's what you would tell me. I was like, I was like, no, like, why would I? Like, I've been talking to you. He's like, that's exactly what you say if you're a CIA. I'm like, I'm not. Trust me. He's like, well, that's exactly what you would say if you were with the CIA.
In 3 seconds, when I snap my fingers, you are not gay. You're not gay.
I'm not. and I'm thinking, and he's like, man, maybe they're setting you up so that they're going to call you one day. And I said, man, what if they call me? Would they call me?
I don't know.
How does that work, actually?
I've never gotten the tap.
How do you know? Is it just like a tap? Do you get an email? Does it show up in your inbox? Do they show up at your door one day? Do you get honeypotted and then all of a sudden they hold it against you? Like, how do you actually get recruited to be one of these CIA guys? I'm curious. Totally off topic.
Well, I think if I were to conjure up what I think would happen, I think it's pretty clear that the 99.9% of our entire Congress leadership are compromised. They were caught on video doing something, and that's why they're blackmailed. It's clear. That's the game. That's the whole Jeffrey Epstein game. So we find that most of the transparency around those types of things is they're at social settings. They're at social parties. They're hanging out at the Diddy parties. They're hanging out at
why I don't drink.
They're hanging out at the clubs. They're hanging out at the balls. They're hanging out at the lounges and the parties. And so that is how they get you. Is they get you in a social setting, and they get you inebriated. They get you coked up, or they get you in some sort of thing, and then they have you do some sort of compromising act. And that's when they come to you later when you're all sobered up and say, hey, there are a couple things we need you to do. And you're like, yeah, who the fuck are you? Get fuck off. And then they go, well, do you remember that party from last Thursday? And you're like,
got the evidence.
Bro, that's how it works. That's how it works. What they do is they prey. They prey on people's entertainment.
Do you know what I need to do? I need to get, those cup lids that the girls take so that people don't roofie them?
Yeah. The little like cup condoms.
Next time I go to a party, I'm gonna bring one with me.
You would look like such a loser walking around with a cup condom. You'd be like, they're gonna roofie me, and they're gonna diddly my diddle back in the back.
And I'm gonna be the only one not compromised by the CIA.
Probably, but
Worth it.
But you'd end up in a Cybertruck with a bullet in your head before you actually are found to be unrecognizable. Isn't that how that works?
Well, okay, so Shawn Ryan gets this letter, and then on Sunday, he holds this Spaces on X. And they have all these experts come onto the Spaces. And we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to tell what's going on. And they spend 2 hours talking about their credentials and why they're important and why they believe that this letter is real and what's going on.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of it.
I didn't catch any of it. So give me the end.
They did not talk one time about these drones coming out of the water and that are going to attack everyone that has 0-point energy and has anti-gravity technology. They don't talk about it one time.
What a letdown.
And I'm thinking, like, that's actually the most important part of that letter, that most interesting part of the letter.
Yeah, because in the letter, he's basically saying that we have been compromised. Our security apparatus has been completely compromised.
So I'm thinking, what was the point of this Spaces? What's actually the point of them proving that this letter is real? To say that we talked to the terrorist? Or we talked to him, or he's not a terrorist? Like, that's actually the least important part of this. The most important part of this is that there are drones coming to the ocean that are going to attack anyone at any given point. That's kind of what I want to know about. Is that real or not? And side note, we're going to have Ashton Forbes on soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he knows this stuff.
Oh, man, my jollies are getting...
So we'll have Ashton Forbes on in the next week or so.
For those who don't know that name, tell us.
Ashton Forbes is the investigative researcher that's been working on the missing MH370, talking about the orbs that made the plane disappear, and that the United States government has some sort of anti-gravity technology, has the ability to open up wormholes, has the ability to make things teleport, and also has the ability to create infinite energy, and they're holding the technology from you because if they were to give it up, then your energy bill would go down. And they want to be the only ones that control that technology. So that is his premise. I find him extremely credible. I don't understand his science, but I believe that he himself is extremely genuine in his research.
And we appreciate men and women like that who are willing to go deep in the search for truth.
And he hangs out in our Discord.
He does. That's true too. So going back to the Shawn Ryan thing, what you basically stated with this 2 hour Spaces that amounted to a whole bunch of nothing kind of plays into my thesis that they are controlled opposition, keeping the narrative going and keeping people scared while not actually solving the problem or helping solve the problem or finding out the truth. I mean, we are in this world where you have to extract yourself for a second. Like, we are 7 days into 2025, and what we just talked about is exactly how I'm seeing all this. It is literally Simpsons and CSI episodes where everything is literally solved, from the explosion in the first 15 seconds of the show to the resolution of that issue within a 60-minute show. We're watching Looney Tunes live, and it's all resolved in a day. How is this possible?
I think I want to change the framing of the argument. So in your premise, it's that the story has been scripted and the people are actors.
Yes. High-level script.
High-level script with actors characters put in place.
So, yeah. Look up central casting. Have you looked up central casting? Central casting. If you Google central casting, you will find websites, many permutations, core. Central casting is where you can sign up to be part of a charade or be part of a simulation or be part of a event that is a training mechanism for real events like a fire or a bomb or a terrorist attack like you can sign up to be a victim for $17 an hour, and they put fake blood on you and you lie down and you go, the bomb that was at the marathon in Boston blew off my leg, but my leg's still here.
Well, you gotta be careful. It's exactly what Alex Jones got in trouble for.
Oh. You mean talking about central casting and there's actors at like schools and stuff before the bombs go off and before things happen?
$1 billion fine.
You know, I think all of the news anchors should be fined just as much, because I think they've lied more than Alex Jones is. Because if you look at the Alex Jones conspiracy tracker, he's like 68 out of 69. Correct. Or something like this. Nice. Seriously. He out of like, have you checked the conspiracy tracker? You've seen those checklists, right?
I think that Alex Jones takes a bunch of shit, throws on the wall, hopes something sticks, and I think that he is not as awesome as he once was.
Well, did you see his recent rant about Elon?
Yeah.
And Trump? And you're not going to take us out. We're already winning.
He is sounding really propaganda-y. He refuses to call out the obvious things in the world now.
Oh, interesting.
He refuses to acknowledge the noticing.
Oh, he's not noticing.
And he has done a complete 180 of the man that he used to be. I think that he has been broken by the system. I think that all the lawsuits and everything else has taken a heavy toll on him. And he is not willing to be the extreme Alex Jones that he once was. And now he's just this loud, screaming propagandist. And it's kind of sad. I try to remember him for the greatness that he had, and I will look past the shell of the man that he's become.
What you've just said is exactly how I feel about Bill Riley. Like, let's fuck it. Let's do it live. Like, that was like his...
You get old.
Now he's an old... And it also... I really liked Stephen Colbert 20 years ago. Do you remember when he was actually good? Like, he's a shell of a man now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the dancing vaccine guy.
Yeah.
All right, he totally...
You can never take that back, by the way. You can't unforget that.
You can't. Yeah, so I see...
Or forget that.
I think you're correct. I think Alex Jones is now a shell of a man. He was better 20 years ago. Like, truly better. And I think he's sold out. And frankly, how could you blame him? He's been not dragged. He has been wrung through a cheese grater in his life. So, like, he's been torn to shreds. So I get it.
I mean, he's like, we're going to get the globalists and we're going to make them pay. But yeah, we love Elon and we love Peter Thiel and we love all the transhumanists. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, 20 years ago, you were saying they were turning the frogs gay.
Now you love the technocrats and the technocrat oligarchy? Like, they're not the globalists? Are you kidding me?